Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Okay, guys, I'm back again, and I just uploaded the last video. I took a little bit of a break, made myself some more tea, and I'm going to attempt to bring you some news, but we'll see how my voice holds out, because I don't want to be coughing. That's just annoying for everybody involved. So anyway, let's see how far we can get. And let's pick up from where we left off in the last. We left off with the Q posts, and now we are coming down to the news. But I'm going to jump around a little bit because there's some stuff that I really would like to get to, and I'm going to try and get to that stuff first, just in case. So I want to come down to here, and let's look on this side right now, okay? Because this came out. I found this on Twitter, and it says, it's from Instagram, but it was posted to Twitter. It says Ashlyn139, and it says Adam Schiff is a known pedophile. He settled out of court numerous times for sex crimes, indecent liberties of male minors, one as young as 11. Court documents are sealed, but won't be for long. Look it up. Now, she shows this picture right here. Then, Adam Schiff posts. Now, this is interesting, and as far as I'm concerned, this is Adam Schiff trying to get ahead of a story. Because he thinks he's so clever. He really does. And I find that humorous when somebody thinks they are so clever, but they're so transparent. And it's so obvious that he does not. He's not a bright boy. I'm sorry. I'm not putting anybody down. We all have, I know that there are people a whole lot brighter than I am. And I'm bright enough to recognize it and say, you know what? That person's out of my league. But with Adam Schiff, he doesn't realize it. He doesn't know. And so he just goes on and on and on thinking he's so clever. By saying that, oh, we have conclusive proof. Well, what are you saving it for? We haven't seen any conclusive proof. I haven't, that Trump has done anything, even remotely wrong. So after this gets posted, oh, look at here, what he posts. The same picture. And look what it says. Love this old photo of me and my little brother David from the 1980s. Hashtag be a mentor like I was for BBBSLA. I don't know what that is. I haven't had a chance to look into it yet. It's life-changing. For who, Adam? You or the little boy? I don't know. Could be innocent. Could be an innocent picture. But I find it very suspicious that this gets posted to Twitter and then Adam Schiff has to do damage control. That's what this seems like to me. Why all of a sudden did this picture come out? He's never posted it before. Why now? It's obviously a very old picture from the 1980s. Why is he posting it now? Why now of all times? Seems a little suspicious to me. Hey, maybe I'm just a suspicious gal, but seems suspicious to me, and I bet you're thinking the exact same thing. He's getting ahead of this and saying, oh, love this old photo of me and my little brother David from the 1980s. I wonder where his little brother David is. I wonder, he would be all grown up by now. Wonder what he has to say about the encounter. Maybe nothing. Maybe it's completely innocent. Sure. And there are people that do wonderful work with big brothers, big sisters. They do wonderful work. Not everybody that wants to volunteer is a pedophile. I know that. But still, I just think it's a little odd. Then, as if that's not odd enough, and it is. Oh, he's got plenty more odd. He's got plenty more odd to lay on us. Oh, yes, he does. It's just the odd just keeps on coming with that one. So let's look at this. Posted today. No, yesterday. Don't listen to me. My days are all mixed up. So yesterday he posted this. These are all kind of posted around the same time. He says, new technologies like deep fakes, utterly convincing and yet completely fraudulent video and audio give Russia and other malign actors, it should be malignant. He didn't use that in a proper sentence. Adam Schiff. Learn how to speak English like we all do. Yeah, so new technologies like deep fakes, utterly convincing and yet completely fraudulent video and audio give Russia and other malignant actors new ways to disrupt our elections. I wrote to Twitter earlier this summer, urging them to prepare. I hope this means they will do so now. Now, what's the first thing that jumps into your mind when you see something like that? I'll tell you what jumps into my mind, especially when I take all three of these together. To me, there is a video out there of Adam Schiff, and it's a video and audio. And he's getting ahead of the story. That's what he's doing. He knows it's out there. He's probably been waiting. So he gets in front of the story and says, oh, new technologies like deep fakes, utterly convincing, yet completely fraudulent. Video and audio. Oh, it's the Russians again. It's always the Russians. Right. Do you know that Russia gave something like $350,000 to Hillary Clinton's, the Clinton Foundation, towards Hillary's campaign, actually. How much did they give towards Trump's campaign? Zero. Zero. That's right. Zero. As in none, nil, nada. Nothing. Big goose egg, nothing burger. Not a cent. Not even 1 cent went to the Trump campaign. Whole bunch went to Hillary. Yeah, but it's those Russians, those nasty Russians. They're making up these videos and audio that look just like me and sound just like me. That's exactly what he's doing. He's getting ahead of something. So expect to see a video with audio coming out of Adam Schiff, which I have no doubt will be Adam Schiff, and I bet you there'll be an underage child involved, perhaps even this one. But it's his little brother, don't you know? Yeah, he was a mentor to him. I bet he taught him lots. I feel sorry for that poor child. I'm not, he hasn't had a trial, so I'm not saying he's guilty without a trial, but I don't know. I just think it's odd. Okay, you guys think, if you're a female, think of yourself as a big sister. If you're a male, think of yourself as a big brother, okay? Now, think of yourself this is 30 years ago, okay? So 30 years ago, if you're old enough, think back. Would you suddenly one day just say, oh, I'm going to post a photo that's 30 years old. I'm going to post a photo of me when I was a big sister or a big brother. That's what I'm going to do. Who does that? 30 years ago, sure, I remember things that I did 30 years ago. I've got pictures of things I did 30 years ago, maybe. I don't know. But it's just odd. Especially right after we get this picture here associated with this. That the court documents are sealed but won't be for long. Just saying. I don't even know if this guy's name is David or he's saying that to throw us off the scent. Who knows? I don't trust the man. But anyway, I'm just giving you a heads up there because I thought that was weird. Now, granted, I do look at things critically. So, maybe I'm seeing something that really isn't there, but I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Now, I also want to show you this. This just went up in Times Square. Now, I've had this for several days and I have been meaning to bring it, but You know, circumstances have been adverse. Anyway, look at this. This is disgusting. Now, let's just pretend for a moment. It says President Evil, and it has a very well, it's an evil looking Trump with a knife that has blood all over it in his blue suit. And it says, watch for it now on Prime Video. No, thank you. No, I don't like my propaganda to be quite that obvious. Just saying. Yeah, so this goes up in New York City. President Evil. Now, imagine, just for a moment, couple moments, 3 tops, that this was Obama. Could you imagine the outcry? Oh, they're racist. They're whatever. You know, if it was anyone else aside from President Trump, you know the outrage there would be. But not a thing gets said. Not a thing. Still up there. Yep. Thanks, Amazon, for showing us how despicable you really are. Not that any of us had any doubts. All right, so I've covered those things, and there's still a whole bunch of stuff down there too. Okay, well, let's come back up here, and we'll start up here now. Those are the things that I really wanted to show you, but let's start on the other stuff. You know, the other stuff. Breaking, Dems caught omitting pro-Trump evidence from new impeachment transcript. Well, of course. What else would we expect from the Dems? Huh? Why would they suddenly change their stripes and say, oh, look, here's some exculpatory evidence. Maybe we should bring that to the people as well so that we can be bipartisan and we can conduct this, fairly. No, that would never cross their mind. No, let's just toss that out. Yeah, Schiff, you're in a whole lot of trouble. Your corn's been cut, buddy. It's been cut. It's about to be served. On Saturday, the Democratic lead House Intelligence Committee, there is, I haven't seen any intelligence from them yet, but released parts of the transcript on the National Security Council official Tim Morrison and purposefully left out key information to continue their anti-Trump witch hunt. Well, we would expect nothing less from them, would we? The House Democrats purposely waited until Saturday to release the transcript because they knew it made President Trump look good, and even when they did release it, they purposefully left out key information. Naturally. Check out what Breitbart reported. Okay, I will. First, the committee withheld the transcript since October 31st, only releasing it after the first public hearing began last week. Morrison's testimony was rumored to be very good for President Donald Trump's defense. Representative Mark Meadows had described Democrats in the room during the closed-door hearing as sucking lemons, and Republicans would have made good use of it had they had the transcript available, but it was not provided. Excuse me. In the interim, Democrats had sole possession of the document. Schiff does not allow copies of the transcripts to be released to Republicans, either in paper or electronic form. If they want to read the transcripts, they must do so one by one in the presence of a Democrat committee staffer. Not only is that rule humiliating, but it also allows Democrats to control the flow of information and to prepare their public arguments with no fear of timely Republican rebuttal. They're lovely people, aren't they? Aren't they just the type that you'd love to have over for tea and crumpets? No, not even in my worst nightmare. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to eat in their presence, to tell you the truth. I think that I would be gagging too hard. In the Morrison case, Democrats released key excerpts that highlighted the few facts in his testimony that they believe helped push the case for impeachment. Chief among these is that Morrison confirmed that he heard U.S. Ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, claim that he told a Ukrainian official in a private sidebar meeting that aid would be released if the Ukrainian prosecutor general would publicly announce an investigation into Burisma. But that is just hearsay evidence, as is Morrison's confirmation of chargé d'affaires. William Taylor's testimony repeated in public last week that Sondland, after speaking to President Trump, there was no quid pro quo, as in none. Zero, zip, nada. There was no quid pro quo, but President Zelensky must announce the opening of the investigations, and he should want to do it. Schiff purposely left out key quotes from Morrison that made President Trump look good. I was not concerned that anything illegal was discussed, Morrison said while talking about the July 25th phone call between President Trump and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. This quote doesn't even show up in the Democrats' key excerpts document. Check out the transcript below. Okay, I just wanted to follow up a bit on this. That's coming from, Schiffy Schiff. One of the concerns, and there may be an overlap between the first two concerns you mentioned about the call, and if the call became public, first you said you were concerned about how it would play out in Washington's polarized environment, and second, how a leak would affect bipartisan support for our Ukrainian partners. Were those concerns related to the fact that the president asked his Ukrainian counterpart to look into and investigate and investigate the Bidens? There's a wrong word there, but if this was provided by Schiff, then we probably know why. Mr. Morrison, no, not specifically. The chairman, so you didn't think that President of the United States asking his counterpart to conduct an investigation into a potential opponent in the 2020 election might influence bipartisan support in Congress? Mr. Morrison, no. The chairman, and you weren't concerned that the president bringing up one of his political opponents in the presidential election and asking a favor with respect to the DNC server of 2016 theory, you weren't concerned that those things would cause people to believe that the president was asking his counterpart to conduct an investigation that might influence his re-election campaign? Mr. Morrison, no. The chairman, that never occurred to you? Mr. Morrison, no. The chairman, did you recognize as you listened to the call, that if Ukraine was to conduct these investigations, that it would injure to the president's political interests? That it would inure to the president's political interests? Mr. Morrison, no. Check out some more fact highlighted by Breitbart. Morrison contradicted Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, the Democrats' star witness. If that's their star witness, they're in a lot of trouble. In the closed-door hearings, who reported to Morrison directly, Morrison testified that while he admired his subordinates' patriotism, he was irritated that Vindman failed to report concerns about the call directly to him. He said Vindman never raised concerns that something illegal had happened. He also said he accepted all of Vindman's proposed edits to the call record, contrary to Vindman's testimony. And while he did not think that Vindman was a leaker, he testified, I had concerns that he did not exercise appropriate judgment as to whom he would say what. He said that Vindman's sloppy practices were partly the result of his own predecessor at the NSC, Dr. Fiona Hill, another one of the Democrats' star witnesses who, like Morrison, is due to testify publicly this week. Morrison testified that other foreign aid being offered by the U.S. at the time was reportedly under review, not just to Ukraine, and he confirmed earlier testimony that the aid being held up did not include the essential Javelin anti-tank missiles, which were being delivered to Ukraine through a separate procurement process. Morrison testified that he had no concerns that President Trump asked President Zelensky during the July 25th phone call to meet with his personal attorney, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, Morrison kept NSC lawyer informed about what was going on, not because he was concerned Trump had done anything wrong, but because he wanted to protect the president from whatever Sondland was doing. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below. Well, we're not going to do that, but I think that you all know exactly how I feel about this. Not a big fan of Schiff. No, I wouldn't even want to be in the same room with him. No, I wouldn't, really. And if he was on fire, I probably wouldn't even spit on him to put it out. Well, I might, because I'm just such a sap. I don't know. I like to be a good person. I wouldn't let him burn to death. But I don't like him. Anyway, let's go back. Excuse me. All right, here we go. Back again. Now, let's take a look at this first. I should get into Prince Andrew, but to tell you the truth, he makes me a little ill. And let me ask you something. If you had teeth that were like a jigsaw puzzle, if your bottom teeth were like a jigsaw puzzle and you had all the money in the world, your family was massively rich, would you still have lower teeth that look like a jigsaw puzzle? Because I wouldn't. I mean, I had a little bit of an overbite. My parents said, get braces on that kid. Seriously. So I'm just saying. And my parents weren't, rich. So, no, they weren't rich at all. But, well, probably it's all relative, right? It's all relative. So let's look at this. Prostitution and pedophilia covered up by the Clinton-Obama State Department. Really? Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Investigators were told to cease the investigation. Former investigator complained to Congress the investigations were not thorough due to pressure from high-ranking officials. Well, let's take a look at this, shall we? I think we should. So let's. Here we go.
Called off or intervened in investigations into possibly illegal and inappropriate behavior within its ranks, allegedly to protect jobs and avoid scandals. This concerns the time that Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. We want to get right to NBC's chief White House correspondent.
Trying to get
Chuck
this
Todd
louder.
with the latest. Chuck, good morning to you.
Good morning, Savannah. There's an old saying in Washington that the cover-up is worse than the crime. But in this case, both parts of it are disturbing. Allegations of prostitution and pedophilia, and allegations that those crimes were somehow covered up or not looked into. So the State Department this morning is having to respond to those claims and those investigations of misconduct by State Department officials, including by an ambassador and security agents attached to then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. And the allegations are that these investigations were whitewashed, quashed altogether, and that those orders came from high up.
NBC News has obtained documents related to ongoing investigations into some disturbing allegations involving State Department personnel and at least one ambassador. A State Department memo says the ambassador, quote, routinely ditched his protective security detail in order to solicit sexual favors from both prostitutes and minor children. The memo also says a top State Department official directed department investigators to, quote, cease the investigation into the ambassador's conduct. It's just one of what another document describes as, quote, several examples of undue influence from top state officials. On Monday, a State Department spokesperson would not confirm specific investigations.
I'm not going to talk about specific cases, but I can say broadly that the notion that we would not vigorously pursue criminal misconduct in any case, is preposterous.
A former investigator for the department's inspector general has complained to Congress and the media that the investigations have not been thorough because of the pressure from those high-level officials.
We take every allegation of misconduct seriously, and we look into it.
It was less than 6 months ago that another major internal investigation painted Hillary Clinton's State Department in a negative light. That scathing report on the failed diplomatic security procedures in the aftermath of the Benghazi attack.
What difference at this point does it make?
Makes a lot of difference, Hillary. Yeah. The blood of those men are on your hands. Not that you care, because there's so much blood on your hands. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell whose blood is who. But now this is older, but it's all interesting. Wonder if this is going to come back out. Yeah. Anyway, let's leave that and come back over here. See what else we can get into. You know, just for the heck of it. All right. Now I'm going to have to, you know, do a little bit of code, because I can't say these. Can't say this. This name, Epic Caramel. Huge. After removing Ukrainian prosecutor Shokin, Obama's State Department plotted with whistleblower, you know, the Carmel, in White House, then pushed Steele dossier to FBI. Well. Now this is from today, as in today. So, doesn't get any fresher than that, does it? No, it doesn't. The Obama administration coerced the Ukrainian government into removing the prosecutor investigating Ukrainian firm Burisma and its ties to Obama's Vice President Biden and Secretary of State John Kerry. Next, they plotted with the whistleblower in the White House and then pushed the Steele dossier to the FBI. Well, isn't that nice of them? We know that Obama State Department Victoria Nuland was involved in numerous activities in the Obama White House while working for John Kerry. Nuland was first noted when she was caught lying to reporters about Obama's Benghazi talking points. Nuland then came to light in 2014 where she was caught on tape saying F the EU. We also know that Obama's State and Justice Department assisted billionaire and Democrat donor George Soros in an attempt to control Ukraine's oil and gas industry. In late 2015, Nuland was connected to a coup that the deep state was involved in. Obama officials, including Nuland and the Ukrainian ambassador, discussed toppling the Ukrainian government and replacing officials with then VP Joe Biden's approval. The world-renowned Oliver Stone had a piece about this in a documentary about the Ukraine. Yeah, and look what happened to him. Be a shame if anyone shared this clip about Joe Biden from Oliver Stone's 2016 Ukraine documentary. Please do not return tweet in Chuck Todd We Trust. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. This was also about the same time VP Joe Biden coerced the Ukrainian government to remove prosecutor Shokin from the case where he was investigating Biden's son at Burisma, noted in President Trump's tweet below. And from President Trump, this is the real and only story.
Wait a second. Not one single credible outlet has given any credibility to his assertion. Not one single one.
Now to our ABC News investigation this morning into Joe Biden's son Hunter and questions about money he made from foreign business dealings while his father was vice president.
You have a big story tonight on the New York Times website. Tomorrow, page 1 of the print edition.
Was Hunter Biden profiting off his dad's work as vice president?
Of course he was.
And did Joe Biden allow it?
Yep.
We're talking about millions of dollars in at least 2 countries.
We have Joe Biden as vice president having intervened to sort of force the firing of a Ukrainian prosecutor who happened to have an open case looking into a company, a Ukrainian gas company that was employing Joe Biden's son.
There's no reason to pay Hunter Biden $50,000 a month.
Hunter Biden worked for a natural gas company in Ukraine, which is totally fair game. Did the vice president's son use his dad's influence to make money somewhere in the world? That's totally fair game.
Potential conflict of interest there, and I think Joe Biden will have to answer for.
Hunter Biden's work with the company reportedly sparked concern among State Department officials.
But was it right for Hunter Biden to take a job like that in Ukraine while his father was engaged in diplomacy there?
There is a story here. We've told some of it. There's more to be told.
I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. If the prosecutor's not fired, if the prosecutor's not fired, if the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money.
All right. Had to pour myself some more tea. All right. So let's go back now. Where were we? Not there. We were right here. Why was I trying to go somewhere else? I don't know. Okay. Hang on here. I want to make sure that, no, it's all right. For some reason, I didn't think I was recording. All of a sudden, I had this fear that I'm not recording and I'm not going to be able to do it again because my voice isn't going to hold out. But we're all okay. We're okay. So the Epoch Times had an excellent piece on this time period in the Obama White House. State Department Assistant Secretary Victoria Nuland worked with the U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Jeffrey Pyatt, in late 2015 to create a plan to force the firing of Ukraine Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin. According to Kent, Nuland was also among a network of Obama administration officials involved in the distribution and recirculation of the infamous Steele dossier, the document used by the FBI to secure a maximally intrusive spy warrant to surveil a Trump campaign associate. Which, of course, we know Trump really was the real target. And they could collect info on Trump because of that umbrella, surveillance where they can go 2 or 3 or however many people out from the main person that they have the FISA warrant on. My understanding is that the conversations were near daily between Ambassador Pyatt and Victoria Nuland regarding what to do on the way forward then included pitching the office of the vice president to push President Poroshenko to remove Shokin, Kent told lawmakers on October 15th. Biden ultimately carried out Nuland's plan during a visit to Ukraine in December 2015 and has since bragged on at least 2 occasions about forcing Shokin's firing by threatening to cut off the loan guarantees. At that time, Biden exerted pressure on Ukraine. Shokin was investigating Burisma, the Ukrainian gas giant that was paying Biden's son Hunter Biden to serve on its board of directors. The Ukrainian president asked for Shokin's resignation 2 months after Biden's overture. The Ukrainian parliament approved the resignation on March 29th, 2016. During this time, we've discovered a number of suspicious events within the State Department. Victoria Nuland, with the State Department's Victoria Nuland. According to records from obamawhitehouse.archives.gov, Nuland was involved in the following White House meetings. October 7th, 2015, Nuland meets Biden at the White House. November 5th, 2015, Ambassador Gregory Pyatt meets Deputy National Security Advisor Avril Haines, former CIA, at the White House. March 29th, 2016, Ukrainian prosecutor Shokin was formally dismissed in a parliamentary note. And March 30, 2016, Nuland meets Biden at the White House. April 4th, 2016, Nuland meets Obama at the White House. April 13th, 2016, Nuland meets Susan Rice at the White House. April 14th, 2016, Nuland meets Biden at the White House. June 15th, 2016, Nuland, Pyatt, and Vladimir Omelian meet Biden at the White House. June 17th, 2016, Pyatt meets the whistleblower, the Carmel, at Epic Carmel, at the White House, with Nuland present as well. Within a month of Nuland and Pyatt's visit with, the Carmel guy, in the White House, Nuland shared the Russia collusion Steele dossier with the FBI. Nuland's involvement in the controversy about the Biden's dealing in Ukraine may raise new questions about the motivations of the officials involved in the circulation of the Steele dossier, the document which for 3 years fueled the debunked narrative, and then candidate Donald Trump colluded with Russia in 2016 to influence the 2016 presidential election. Christopher Steele, a former British intelligence officer, compiled the dossier by paying second and third-hand sources with ties to the Kremlin. The Hillary Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee ultimately funded Steele's work. Nuland told CBS that she received a copy of the Steele dossier in July 2016 and forwarded it to the FBI. She has argued that she did not that she did right to forward the dossier to the Bureau, but in doing so became one of many Obama administration officials who helped, wittingly or unwittingly, to launder Steele's allegations by adding credibility to the unverified document in acting as a highly placed conduit. Steele, passed 2 to 4 pages of short points of what he was finding, and our immediate reaction to that was, this is not in our purview. Newland told CBS this needs to go to the FBI. If there is any concern here that one candidate or the election as a whole might be influenced by the Russian Federation, that's something for the FBI to investigate. Sure. Yeah, we believe Newland. Right. She didn't know. She didn't know that the Steele dossier was fake? Really? I think she did. Between September 26, 2016 and December 10th, 2016, Newland received Russia-related information from Steele via State Department official Jonathan Weiner, according to documents released as part of a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit by conservative watchdog Judicial Watch. During these 3 months, the FBI obtained the secret court warrant to surveil Trump campaign associate Carter Page. The Steele dossier served as the core of the evidence used in the Obama administration's applicant for the warrant. In December 2016, Newland received a briefing about the Steele dossier from David Kramer, longtime associate of late Senator John McCain. According to Kramer's deposition, McCain specifically directed Kramer to brief Newland about the dossier. The extent of Kramer's outreach laid bare a coordinated plan to widely disseminate the dossier among highly placed officials, lawmakers, and the media. In addition to briefing Newland, Kramer briefed 17 members of the media, Senior Director for Russian Affairs at the National Security Council, Celeste Wallander, Representative Adam Kinzinger, and House Speaker Paul Ryan's Chief of Staff, Jonathan Burks. So Newland and the State Department shared the Steele dossier in July and again in December of 2016. This is right after attempting a coup in the Ukraine and having a prosecutor looking into their misdeeds with the Ukrainian government and Corporation Burisma. Also, this is just after meeting with the whistleblower, the epic Carmel. All right, that is it, and that is a lot. I really don't think my gosh, where did that picture of me come from? I don't know. Anyway, that's enough of that. So let's go here, back to here, and we'll get into this, even though, even looking at this man disgusts me. You ever just, not him, I mean, he disgusts me too, but this guy. Prince Andrew PR advisor quits over BBC Epstein interview. Prince Andrew denied sex allegation from woman who said she was sex trafficked by Epstein. Well, what's he gonna say? Yeah, I did it. Sure I did. Okay, it says Britain's Prince Andrew lost a key public relations advisor over his decision to address allegations related to his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein during an interview with BBC, multiple outlets report. He would have been better off to just shut his gob. Really, he would have been far better off because, the guy can't be too smart. Really, because he's like, well, I couldn't have been with her because I was at a pizza party. Yeah, that's what he said. Ooh, not too bright. PR guru Jason Stein started as the Prince's communications secretary in September amid allegations that Prince Andrew had slept with American woman Virginia Giuffre when she was 17, something the Prince denied in the BBC interview. Something doesn't fit. Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. That's a whole other kettle of fish there. Stein quit because of the interview. The Daily Mail and the Sky News reported. BBC's Emily Maitlis asked Prince Andrew about Giuffre's allegations that they dined together, danced together at Tramp's nightclub in London, and later went to a house belonging to Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine rather, Maxwell to have sex in 2011 or 2001. Now I'm reading things that aren't even there. So let's come down here. I have no recollection of ever meeting her. I'm convinced I was never in trance with her. There are a number of things wrong with her. I don't know where the bar is in Tramps. I don't drink. I don't think I've ever bought a drink in Tramps. Whenever I was there, he said. Wait a minute. He just said, I don't know where the bar is. See, he's contradicting himself. That's why I'm saying the man's not that smart, because he says, I have no recollection of ever meeting her. That's what he says at first. Don't have any recollection. Well, that doesn't mean, just because you don't remember it, doesn't mean it didn't happen. You know. And then he says, I'm convinced I was never in trance with her. Okay, I was never in trance with her. There are a number of things wrong with her. Don't know what he means by that. Then he says, I don't know where the bar is in Tramps. Okay, so he says, I don't know where the bar is in Tramps. I don't drink. I don't think I've ever bought a drink in Tramps whenever I was there. Well, why would he say, I don't think I've ever bought a drink in Tramps if he doesn't drink? Why would he even have to put that as a qualifier? He just said, I don't drink. So obviously, if you don't drink, you've never bought a drink in Tramps, right? Because you don't drink. So he says, I don't think I've ever bought a drink in Tramps whenever I was there. So he's just admitted that he has been there. But he doesn't think he bought a drink. But he doesn't drink. So why would he? Well, it gets worse. That couldn't have happened because the date being suggested, I was at home with the children. On that particular day, I was at home. I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to Pizza Express in working for a party in Woking. Okay, that must be a place. Pizza Express in Woking for a party. Going to Pizza Express in Woking is a usual thing for me to do, Prince Andrew said. I don't know if I've met her, he later said of Geoffrey. I don't know if I've met her. I have no recollection of ever meeting her, he says up here. I have no recollection of meeting her. I don't know if I've met her. Down here. Prince Andrew said he can't explain a photo that shows him with his arm around Geoffrey and suggests it might be fake. Oh, it's fake. Right, just like Adam Schiff's video. You can bet it's coming out. Oh, it's the Russians. It's the Russians. They're making these videos and they look so real. And the voice is real and everything, but it's not real. It's the Russians. Yeah, must be kind of like that. So he can't explain a photo that shows him with his arm because he doesn't know if he's ever met her and he doesn't recollect. Oh, well, the photo should have jogged his memory, don't you think? Prince Andrew also said he did not regret his friendship with Epstein because of the opportunities to learn from him. Wait a minute. You're a prince. You have all the money at your disposal. You can go anywhere and learn from anyone. Why would you choose Jeffrey Epstein? Oh, he doesn't regret the friendship. Doesn't regret it because he learned so much from him. What did he learn from him? Yeah. Jeffrey claims she and Prince Andrew had sex 3 times and said she was also made to service Epstein. Royal Canadian website editor Charlie Proctor tweeted Saturday that the interview was a plane crashing into an oil tanker causing a tsunami, triggering a nuclear explosion level bad. Oh, that's classic. Classic. The interview was a plane crashing into an oil tanker causing a tsunami, triggering a nuclear explosion level bad. That's bad. I mean, it doesn't get worse than that, does it? So Charlie Proctor said, I expected a train wreck. This was a plane crashing into an oil tanker causing a tsunami, triggering a nuclear explosion level bad. I agree. In July, Epstein, who was reportedly worth more than $550 million, was charged in Southern District of New York with sex trafficking of minors and conspiracy. My voice is going. In the early hours of August 10th, his body was found inside his Metropolitan Correctional Center jail cell in Lower Manhattan. He didn't kill himself. So there you go. How bad does, seriously, why didn't he keep his gob shut? And, here is part of the interview. I'm not gonna, but maybe we'll just click on it and listen to like a little bit, just because it will entertain me. And it's all about me. Isn't it? Probably not.
We've come to Buckingham Palace in highly unusual circumstances. Normally, we'd be discussing your work, your duty. We'll come on to that. But today, you've chosen to speak out for the first time. Why have you decided to talk now?
Because there is no good time to talk about Mr. Epstein and all things associated. We've been talking to Newsnight for about 6 months about doing something around the work that I was doing. And a considerable stretch to say that he was a very, very close friend. But he had the most extraordinary ability to bring extraordinary people together. And that's the bit that I remember, is going to the dinner parties where you would meet academics, politicians, people from the United Nations. I mean, it was a cosmopolitan group of what I would describe as US eminence.
Was that his appeal then? Was that what you... Because you were perceived by the public as being the party prince. Was that something you shared?
I think that's also...
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. He just said he didn't drink, right? What is sitting on that counter? What is sitting there? Well, I'll tell you what. It's a glass of wine or champagne.
I've collected that title because I never have really partied. I was single for quite a long time, in the early 80s. But then after I got married, I was very happy.
Is that why you're divorced?
I've never really felt the need to go and party. And certainly going to Jeffrey's was not about partying. Absolutely not.
No, of course not. It's about sex.
Good friends, but would you describe him as a good friend? Did you trust him?
Yes, I think I probably did. But again,
well, we can't listen to this all night just to get to the...
I never saw them.
So you would have made that connection because you stayed with him, you were a visitor.
Let's go. I want to catch like him talking about...
Back from Boston. So I don't think that could have happened at all.
There was a witness there, Johanna Stolberg, who says that you did visit the house in that month.
I probably did. I don't think on one of the weird things, I was staying with the because of what I was doing. I was staying with the Consul General, which is further down the street on Fifth. So I wasn't staying there. I may have visited, but no, definitely no activity.
Because in a legal deposition, 2015, she said she had sex with you 3 times. Once in a London house when she was trafficked to you in Maxwell's house.
Yes.
Once in New York a month or so later at Epstein's mansion. And once on his private island in a group of 7 or 8 other girls.
No.
He's not very good at looking surprised.
No to all of it.
All of it. Absolutely no to all of it.
Why would she be saying those things?
We wonder exactly the same, but I have no idea. Absolutely no idea.
She made these claims in a US deposition. Are you saying you don't believe her? She's lying.
That's a very difficult thing to answer because I'm not in a position to know what she's trying to achieve, but I can tell you categorically, I don't remember meeting her at all. I do not remember a photograph being taken. And I've said consistently and frequently that we never had any sort of sexual contact whatever.
She spoke about you outside the court in August of this year. She said, I quote, "He knows exactly what he's done, and I hope he comes clean about it."
And the answer is nothing.
So if Virginia Roberts is watching this interview, what is your message to her?
I don't have a message for her. Because I have to have a thick skin. If somebody's going to make those sorts of allegations, then I'm just going to have a thick skin and get on with it. But they never happened.
For the record, is there any way you could have had sex with that young woman or any young woman trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein in any of his residences?
No. And without putting too fine a point on it, if you're a man, it is a positive act to have sex with somebody. You have to take some sort of positive action. And so therefore, if you try to forget, it's very difficult to try and forget positive action. And I do not remember anything. I can't rack my brain and thinking, oh, well, when the allegations came out originally, I went, well, that's a bit strange, I don't remember this. And then I've been through it and through it and through it over and over and over again. And no, nothing. Never happened.
Epstein's housekeeper, also in a Florida court legal deposition, said that you visited the Palm Beach residence around 4 times a year. You got a daily massage.
4 times a year?
That was what he said in a Florida court legal deposition.
He's not a good actor,
I'm just
is he?
wondering, when you look back now, is there a chance that those massages might have been the services of someone who was being sexually exploited or trafficked by Epstein?
No. I don't think, no, definitely not. Definitely not. And I definitely did not visit his Palm Beach house 3 or 4 times a year. Absolutely not.
How many times would you say you visited?
In total, probably 4 times. In total, throughout the time that I knew him. And all the time. And I don't wish to appear grand, but there were a lot of people who were walking around Jeffrey Epstein's house. As far as
All right. I don't want to keep, you're watching a video of me watching a video, and that's not good. But if you look, you could probably find this on YouTube in its entirety. Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein, full interview, BBC. And of course, you'll have the link as well, which I upload to Patreon. So if you wish to find this, I'm sure you will. I thought I would catch him in some of these weird things he said, like he was hugging the girl and he says, well, I don't hug. I never hug. It's like, okay, whatever. I mean, this guy is a piece of work. And really, he probably went against his PR advisor. And that is probably why he quit. It's like, okay, I've had enough. There's no coming back from that. And I agree, it was an absolute disaster. So let's go back here and see if there's anything else that I can get to quickly, because I am losing my voice. So I don't want to belabor this. But okay, here is one thing I've been meaning to get to, and then we're going to call this a night. Because what else would we call it? Come on. This is weird. Clinton whistleblower, feds probe Adam Schiff dressed like Egyptian at bizarre sacrifice parties at Ed Buck's meth mansion. Now, Ed Buck was the man that, there was two people that died at his house under very mysterious circumstances, and also a third that escaped. He's definitely not a good man, and he would invite young men over and drugged them and raped them and so forth. So let's look at this. Embattled Democrat Congressman Adam Schiff was dressed in ancient Egyptian-themed garb at 2 wild costume parties at Ed Buck's meth and sex mansion, according to a Clinton whistleblower and insider. And the FBI is probing Schiff, who is now the target of a federal investigation focused on the congressman's more than frequent trips to Ed Buck's meth mansion. Buck is a high-profile millionaire Democratic benefactor who has contributed and bundled large amounts of cash to Democrats, including Schiff, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, and the list goes on and on. Buck was arrested last month after a nearly dead man escaped from Buck's home after Buck allegedly plied him with meth. Larry Nichols is the consummate DC insider and operator. In fact, Bill Clinton, in his biography, described Nichols as a dangerous man. Clinton would know because Nichols spearheaded many of Clinton's political black bag ops in Arkansas and Washington, D.C. for the Clinton cartel and beyond before he turned whistleblower. Nichols revealed on his weekly news show on Crowdsource The Truth that federal agents have traced Congressman Schiff's at Buck's drug mansion over a dozen times. And during 2 costume parties at the meth mansion, Schiff was dressed in ancient Egyptian garb. Nichols said the parties had an Egyptian sacrifice vibe, and attendees were dressed according to the bizarre theme. This guy, Schiff, is kinky, Nichols said. Well, you can tell by looking at him. You just look at him and you go, ew. It's like, ugh. Seriously, there are people that you just look at and you know they're into something nasty. Well, Schiff's one of those guys. For me, maybe not you, but for me, when I look at him, I can tell he's involved in something nasty. So he said, this guy, Schiff, is kinky, Nichols said. We can make a leap here that partygoers were likely worshiping pyramids of meth. But what was Schiff doing there, Nichols has asked. 2 men previously died at Buck's mansion from drug overdoses, but Buck was never charged by Los Angeles police. Gee, I wonder why. Buck was charged in September with running a drug house and doping up victims and then allegedly acting out his twisted sexual fantasies on the incapacitated victims, according to prosecutors. Buck targeted homeless men, according to prosecutors. Nichols said Schiff, like Buck, is under investigation. Well, let's hope that's so. That would make me very happy. Yeah, nothing would surprise me with Schiff, though. Nothing. All right. Well, I am going to end this here because my voice is going and I think I've been talking enough. I want to save my voice because I don't know what's going to be coming down the pipe tomorrow. There may be more Q posts. There may be the Inspector General report. I don't know. But if last week is any indication, it'll be a busy news week. Busy news day, busy news week. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you guys for your support, your donations to Coffee, Patreon, PayPal, all of that. It all helps because, as you know, I'm not monetized, and I don't see that ever changing. In fact, I am going to have to get myself set up in another platform like BitChute very, very soon because YouTube is making, well, they're basically going to be taking down any channels that they do not feel are benefiting them at all financially. They're not financially viable. So if they demonetize a channel, there's a good chance that they're probably going to end up taking that channel down because, you know, they're not monetized. They're not making YouTube any money. So if that happens, though, I'm not going anywhere. I'm really not. So I will get set up on another channel. This is supposed to happen in December, early December. So we'll see. But I will make sure that you are all informed. I do have another channel on YouTube, but chances are if this gets taken down, that probably will as well. I don't know. I'm just saying I would rather be prepared than to find that, gosh, I'm not on YouTube anymore and nobody knows how to find me. So I will be setting that Gab account up and getting everything switched over so that it will mirror here. So if anything happens here, then all of my stuff will be over there as well. So it won't be lost. Anyway, that is it for tonight. You guys have a wonderful night. Sleep well, stay safe, and keep seeking truth, because deception bites. Good night.